Hello world, my name is Anson. Welcome to another edition of the Ghouls and Gains vlog. We've been covering how to prepare yourself for an outbreak, and as Ghouls and Gains, how are we going to talk about preparing yourself for an outbreak if we don't include fitness? So today I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to prepare yourself for that first wave of the initial outbreak in the gym. So stay tuned. You know, a part of preparing yourself for the outbreak is not necessarily just gathering supplies, not necessarily just making sure that your home or your fortress is prepared for the onslaught of zombies. It's not just gathering weapons, but it's also making sure that your body is ready for the outbreak. I just see a meme right now of my body is ready. I don't know why I said that. So this episode, I'm going to give you 3 things to consider doing in your gym currently that will help you prepare yourself for the outbreak, that will also translate for when you're in the outbreak itself. Number one is going to be resistance bands. And I know you're going to say, Anson, you're going to have me work out with rubber bands. What? Resistance bands in the gym currently are great for accessory workouts. And so one thing that you can potentially do is introduce resistance bands into your workout scenario now. Because what's going to be helpful for you in the outbreak, let's say the outbreak does occur and you do need to go on the run, resistance bands are a great pack up and go equipment that you can just put in your bug out bag so that you can potentially lift heavy objects or just in general keep your muscles engaged. All you'd have to do on the run is find an anchor point, put that resistance band in the anchor point, and what you can do is have a whole workout with resistance bands in the middle of an outbreak. So resistance bands are a great piece of equipment on the go, but it also caters to that mentality of making sure that you're being as discreet as possible. Maybe you're in your fortress, you're able to do a full workout. You may not want to do something like pick up dumbbells or free weights because those are going to be clanging and banging. And so you may want to have a more quiet workout. And so resistance bands are going to be great for that subtlety that we've kind of been preaching throughout this whole season. So whether you want to prepare yourself for the outbreak or just change some things up, consider using resistance bands in the gym. Number 2 is more body weight exercises. You know, we're talking about equipment and workouts that are perfect for on the go. What better thing for on the go than simple body weight exercises? Things like push-ups, pull-ups, air squats. You don't need equipment for them. Now you can potentially make those exercises more effective with equipment. Going back to point number 1, if you do want a more intense push-up than just your body weight, you could potentially wrap a resistance band around your back to where you have a little bit more resistance when you're going into that push-up. But all else fails, understanding good body weight exercises, you'll be ready for if you do need to engage your muscles in the outbreak. And also, just again, going from the same point we had before, a good change of pace in the gym. So consider body weight exercises in the gym to help just change things up, create muscle confusion. You know, if you do the same workout every time, I don't know why I just did an impression of a bench press. I guess everyone's doing bench press. The outbreak is not one long rest day. And so you want to make sure that you keep those muscles engaged so you're physically able to withstand the outbreak. You're able to move when you need to. You're able to lift what you need to. And so, of course, what is number 3? Now, you're going to take a deep sigh because you know what I'm going to say. Number 3 is cardio. Do cardio. Now, obviously, my advice to you and to myself, you want to start running because what are you going to be doing during the entire outbreak potentially? running. So you want to make sure that you aren't caught sleeping when the outbreak occurs and you can't run a mile. You know, there's a lot of great apps for couch to 5K and different things like that. So you can potentially go from not running to running really well, or at least enough to where you're running away from a fucking pool of zombies back there. So you want to make sure that not only you can lift and you can run, but you want to make sure that your cardiovascular strength is where it needs to be as well. And so doing cardio, not just running, but doing cardio, I advise to do it. Just do it. I don't care whether you do plyometrics. I don't freaking care if you introduce jazzercise back at the gym. Just do something to get that heart rate up, get that cardiovascular strength up, so that when you're running from the zombies, you're not sitting there just gassed and passed out on the side of the road, waiting for zombie Fred over here to come pick you up in the carpool and take you to dinner, which, spoiler alert, it's you. So you want to make sure that you have that cardiovascular strength so that you can endure having to run for potentially miles on miles or days with a little bit of rest, making sure that your heart is where it needs to be. And honestly, to be real frank, you know, eventually you want to make sure your heart is where it needs to be, not just for the outbreak, so that you're not dead before the outbreak even occurs. Something to think about. Now, on the subject of cardio, you know, with body weight exercises, with resistance bands exercises, you have that translation to you can do those things in the outbreak. With cardio, it may be a little more difficult. Maybe you have a horde of zombies out your front door. You can't just go run a mile, run a 2 miles. Maybe you want to look at cardiovascular workouts that you can do within the confines of your home. So potentially, if you have a 2-story home, doing up and down on the stairs, I mentioned jazzercise. As long as you have headphones on in the outbreak, I don't give a f. So you want to make sure you're running now, but you also want to make sure that you're looking for cardiovascular workouts that you can do within a fortress if you're stuck there for a few days, few months, or the entire freaking outbreak. So those are my 3 things to consider when you're looking at getting yourself physically in shape for the outbreak. I hope this was helpful for you. If you found it helpful, share it on YouTube or social media. Check us out at goalsandgains.com, where we'll post every episode of our vlog. Check us out on social media, Instagram and Twitter at goalsandgains. And as always, how will you train for the outbreak? Jazzercise.